Hey everybody, Hoosier Jedi here with another review for you. This time I'm talking about episode 6 of season 3 of Game of Thrones called The Climb. And I gotta say, this is a pretty solid episode. It does a really nice job of skipping around everybody, letting us check in with all of our characters. There's lots of really nice little moments for many of the characters. And of course, we have an absolutely awesome speech by Baelish at the very end of all of it that really just drives the Game of Thrones universe home. But anyway, let's just kind of get right into what's going on with everybody. We start off with Sam and Gillian. We get to see a little bit more of their relationship, kind of forming, showing that these two people are really sort of growing together, getting to trust each other. And it certainly was nice to see Sam sing a song to Gilly's baby. It reminds me of a line, if I remember correctly, that he had in the books when he talked about his childhood. In he mentions his mother and how he liked to sing songs for her. Now, again, it's been 2 years since I read any of the books, so if I'm misremembering that detail, do forgive me. But that is something about Sam's character that did sort of stick with me. And I guess I might as well make the usual disclaimer. I'm not going to spoil anything big from the books, but I am going to talk about some of the smaller details. So if you want to remain 100% spoiler free, you might want to turn away. But anyway, we are also, of course, reminded that Sam has that obsidian knife. And of course, that's in no way, shape, or form going to become important at any point in the story. But anyway, I also do like that we do get to see Gilly, showing off that she's not exactly somebody sporting a lot of education, but that she's not stupid. She is skilled in her own way. And I also like how when she kind of says to Sam, aha, I knew you were a nobleman, that's also really reminding us that these two people come from very, very different worlds. So that's also, but that's cool because it really enhances the bond that the two share. That these two people from such completely different places are coming together and getting along, and showing that they do genuinely have a connection. And I really do like that. Sam and Gilly's story is really, honestly, it's very sweet. I really can't put it any other way than that. I mean, it's certainly not all smiles and sunshine, but it did provide some nice lighter moments in the series, and there's still quite a few interesting things for both of them coming down the road if the books are anything to go by. And again, this brings us with our time to check in with Bronn and his little happy band of happy campers. And, of course, by happy campers, I mean Mira and Osha are just, really seconds away from tearing into each other with knives over the proper way to skin a rabbit. And, it is a testament to Bronn's character that he's able to really kind of put his foot down, even though he can't actually move his foot, and point out to them, hey, if you two kill each other, then we're all doomed because you're the only ones who can really fight. Now, he doesn't put it exactly like that, but that is certainly the point that he's made. And I do like how he completely nails Osha with, when she's like, yeah, Mira, she stuck a knife to my throat when she first met me, and Bronn's like, you put a knife to my throat when we first met. And, Osha, who you will notice I have stopped referring to as Tonks, she has no real comeback for that. Now we also get to see Jojen have his little epileptic fit in regards to his vision. And the poor kid looks like just absolute hell afterwards. And I remember seeing that and yeah, okay, now Jojen seems a little bit more like himself from the books. So yeah, it's not always fun to be Jojen Reed. Anyway, Jojen's vision provides us with a very nice transition to what's going on the other side of the wall, and what's happening with Jon Snow. Now, if I remember right, in the books, Ygritte maybe suspected that Jon wasn't had not 100% abandoned the Night's Watch. Here she just flat out says to him, I know you're still loyal to the Crows. But, and she doesn't make, because, well, let's face it, it seems to me it was hinted at in the books. Here she just flat out says it because, well, in TV, especially on a show like Game of Thrones, there's really often not a whole lot of time to put it bluntly, dick around with subtlety. When you've got several hundred pages worth of novel, and you've got like 5 of them totaling thousands of pages, you could dick around with subtlety. TV, you don't have that time. And I'm okay with that because, really, why dick around? I mean, they're wildlings. Do you really think that Ygritte's the type of person to dick around? No, she's not. And I really like that she flat out says to Jon, look, nobody in the Night's Watch really cares if you live or die. No one in Mance Raynor's army really cares if I live or die. We've got to stick together and help each other survive. And I'll be loyal to you as long as you're loyal to me. And loyalty, I mean, that's hitting Jon right where he lives. Because if there's one thing that Jon Snow is all about, picked up from Ned, is that loyalty is a big damn thing. Although, as different as that might be, I'm pretty sure Ygritte's threat to what she'd do to Jon if he did betray her, I'm pretty sure that's 100% accurate to the books. Let me see here. Yes. So let's hop over and talk about what's going on with Arya. And as I said, the great theme of Arya's life is things will be going good for her for a little while, and then will turn to complete and utter crap because Arya can't have anything good for more than 5 minutes. And here we see the Brotherhood without banners betray Gendry and basically sell him to Melisandre. Now this is a completely out of the blue thing from the books. I've seen people talking, and it looks like Gendry is probably going to be taking the place of Edric Storm from the novels. I'm okay with that because, you know, I never really cared that much about Edric Storm. And what was going on with Gendry, to me, always seemed much more interesting anyway. So, look, I'm thinking we'll probably get to see more of Gendry here in the show because, well, you know, in the novels, he says, I'm going to stay with the Brotherhood without banners, and that's really the last we see of him. Now, we also, of course, get a really nice scene between Arya and Melisandre. And, you know, this is, you know, something, of course, that's not from the novels, but just putting these two people together, it really is very interesting. And I love how even Melisandre, when she looks into Arya's eyes, is a little genuinely freaked out. If you know what Arya's destiny is from the books, you probably have a good idea why, and Melisandre's comment about eyes makes a lot more sense. But yeah, you can't help but wonder if Arya is able to find out Melisandre's name. You know, the Brotherhood without banners may or may not be willing to tell her that Melisandre's name might just be added to Arya's little list of prayers. But anyway, some really nice stuff with there, and we also get, of course, to see some of the the Red Priest is fleshed out, more about how the religion of R'hllor works, or at least what the people who are the fervent believers, how they view the world, you know, their agenda with all the whole thing of like you were supposed to convert Robert Baratheon to the Lord of Light's faith and all this other stuff. So again, some really interesting stuff going on there. And of course, this brings us into the only other person in Westeros whose life probably sucks more than Arya's, and that's good old Theon Greyjoy, who, as people have commented, is really getting a pretty surprising amount of screen time this season compared to the amount of time that he got in the books. And I'm okay with that. First of all, Alfie Allen is just completely and utterly rocking Theon as a character. And if it works, why not run with it? I mean, that's really all that I have to say about that. And of course, we get to spend a little bit more time with the boy. And honestly, after what we've seen him doing to Theon this time, you know, I really like. I know it's not officially confirmed, but at this point, I'm willing to just basically all but say it's pretty much a given that this guy is indeed Ramsay Snow. I mean, it just nothing else really makes sense. Now, who Ramsay Snow is and what his deal is, for the folks who have not read the books, okay, that I will not comment on because, Ramsay Snow is a guy who is not through having an influence on things. I don't want to spoil that for you because, as I've said in my previous reviews, where Theon goes from where he is now to where he ultimately ends up, interesting stuff. Not happy stuff. I'll spoil that for you. Not happy, but interesting. Okay, so of course this is the good time to jump over and talk about what's going on with Robb. I did like this scene with the Frey representatives. I don't really remember the dickering with them about this too well from the books, but I like how Blackfish was basically, right in Edmure's face about how he screwed up. Well, Robb, being the good cop, apologizes to his uncle and all this. And to his credit, after some complaining and pissing and moaning, Edmure finally mans up and goes like, "Okay, I'll take this one for the team." Which, is a testament to his character. Sure, he did screw up Robb's plan to take down the mountain, and, doing the thing properly for his father's, whatever, for Hoster's funeral. He screwed that up too, but, here he's stepping up. Now we come to some of the juicy stuff. And, we get to see another fantastic scene with Olenna, putting her up against a character who she's just absolutely cracking against. And, of course, that's Tywin Lannister. And these are two old hands at this sort of political game. And seeing them go at it is quite the entertaining thing. And I like how, Tywin starts right in there, going like, basically, complaining about how Loras is gay and all this other stuff. And of course, Olenna is not going to sit there and take that, so she fires back about the stuff about incest. And what's really nice about that scene is that actually seems to get to Tywin just a tiny bit, because you notice as soon as she said that, that's when Tywin goes off to get himself another drink. Now, he's too much of an old hand at this sort of thing to really let that, whether or not that stung, show, but still, interesting choice of times to go and get yourself another glass. Delicious fruit juice. Anyway, but Tywin is no stranger at all to the game of hardball, and he completely, I love how just with like a little flick of his pen, it's like, oh, okay, you want to do it that way? Fine. If you don't give me what I want, I'll just stick Loras in the Kingsguard, and he gets to spend the rest of his life celibate, and then my great-grandkids, I should say, will get Highgarden. How do you like that? And, give her credit, Olenna is indeed a graceful loser. So, again, just so much respect for Charles Dance there. Great stuff with the characters of Olenna and Tywin. Just beautiful scene. And of course, then we hop over to what's going on with Sansa. And as usual, Sansa is off in her own little dream world of ridiculousness. And she is really completely and utterly oblivious to how she and Sir Loras have absolutely zero chemistry. And you can tell that even Loras is just like, oh, God. He's trying to be as gentlemanly as possible, but you can tell that he's just absolutely hating every second of this. And what's really great is this just leads us right into what's going on over with Cersei and Tyrion, who have managed to put aside their hatred of each other to just sort of commiserate together about like, oh God, we have so been screwed, just as much as those two idiots out there have. And I really do like these little moments when Tyrion and Cersei are able to put their differences aside a little bit and, just sort of talk to each other as real people. And I mean, it is really nicely done, and I like how even Cersei can't even properly defend the fact that, as Tyrion puts it, this is the boat that you built, and even she can't really refute that. So again, just really nice stuff there. And of course, this also leads to the incredibly awkward scene of Tyrion having to break the news to Sansa that she has to marry him right in front of Shae, which is just, twist the poor knife in the guy some more. I remember reading an interview one time with Joss Whedon, and he said that the key to Buffy the Vampire Slayer was Buffy should be unhappy. And I think George R. R. Martin understands this idea, and it is to keep things interesting, you can't have your characters happy for too long. They always need to be having a problem, a complication, some sort of difficulty in their life. Of course, you don't want it to be all doom and gloom, because most people don't really want to read or watch that. But again, in drama, problems and complications and disasters and terrible things can never be too far away. And few universes abide by this idea quite as well as the Song of Ice and Fire / Game of Thrones universe. And of course, after all this, we get the scene with Sansa looking out at the ship and crying. Now, what's cool about that scene is if you look carefully on the sails, you'll see a drawing of a mockingbird. Now, of course, this is Littlefinger's ship. But the thing is, though, the mockingbird is not the symbol of House Baelish. Remember, Peter is indeed a noble, but he's just absolute bottom of the ladder nobility. So him getting to marry the ruler of the area is a big, big step up for him. And of course, as people have pointed out, that if he were to marry Sansa, that would also be quite the feather in his cap. But, that's a discussion for another day. But anyway, the mockingbird is actually Peter's personal symbol, his sigil. The design that represents him, Peter Baelish, personally. And I just can't help but think that the mockingbird is an extremely fitting symbol for a guy like Littlefinger. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Let me see here. Of course, this all leads us into that really fantastic scene between Peter and Varys, where he gives that speech from the really cool previews that we saw for this season. About him talking about chaos, and Varys talking about order and all this. It really does carefully illustrate the opposing viewpoints of these two guys. And of course, Peter just sees it's exactly as Varys said. Baelish is the guy that would let all of Westeros burn so long as he got to rule over the ashes. And Peter's speech completely and utterly backs that up. And I just love these two guys taking some moment to okay, let's stop pretending here. Let's really kind of show who we are to each other. And of course, the music that's playing while Peter's giving that speech, and the way we cut to what's going on at the wall, just gorgeous stuff. And of course, this all culminates in us seeing the final fate of poor Ros. And first of all, did you notice that the places that Joffrey has shot Ros match where Arya shot the dummy? So some nice thinking there. But I also like how this scene shows us that if there was anybody who was out there thinking that maybe Marjorie could turn Joffrey into a decent guy, Joffrey has not changed, except in maybe that he's learned a little bit of discretion. He's learned to keep things a little bit more on the down low. But remember, Joffrey's the guy who believes that everyone is his to torment. So we'll see how long he can keep that side of himself under wraps. And of course, Roz's fate brings back Littlefinger's extraordinarily creepy speech about how he feels about bad investments from the other season. So seriously, that whole thing at the end was just so well done. I am just blown away by it. I absolutely loved it. And of course, despite that, we do get to go out on a little bit of a high note, seeing Jon and Ygritte kissing on top of the wall. Then again, after seeing Roz's fate, just about anything would seem kind of up after that. But anyway, folks, that's all I got for you this time around. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and of course you can follow me on Twitter at Hoosier Jedi. Until next time, take care and have a good one.